Yeah. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Beanball Podcast. This is episode 60. We are your host, Alan and Alan. And what's going on, my guy?
What's up, man? Glad to be back.
Yep.
Not a whole lot going on.
No, not really. Besides, summer's almost at the end.
Yep.
The light's near. Kids in some areas are already back in school.
That's right.
Oh, in Ohio and stuff. So, I know other places are next because that's when we slow down at the hotel a little bit during the week.
Yep.
So it's not around the corner. The next thing you know, it's Labor Day and the kids around here go back.
That's
I know
right.
your wife's ready.
Yeah, she is. She's ready to at least let the kids
Yeah, drop your
go
kids off.
somewhere.
So let's go ahead and start with this breaking news that broke earlier today.
Yeah, man. So if you haven't heard by now, Ramon Laureano from the Oakland A's has been suspended for 80 games for PED use.
Yeah. So, the Washington Post, the statement from the A's, of course, they said they're disappointed in learning the suspension. We fully support, the drug and prevention and treatment program. We welcome back Ramon after the discipline has been served. Of course, he was hitting .246 with 14 home runs and 39 RBIs this year for the second place A's in the American League West.
Yeah, arguably his best year so far if you put it together.
And it even hurts because he was been arbitrated eligible next year.
Okay.
So that hurts probably because you think we got, a month and a half left. You're thinking maybe half the suspension is going to be this year?
Yeah.
Roughly. I think we'll say about 40-something games, 50 games
Either
left.
way, he's
He's
out.
going into at least a month missing next year,
Mm-hmm.
most likely. So that sucks. But the trade, which we'll talk about with Starling Marte, looks a lot better now since you're definitely going to need to replace him in the outfield. So that looks a little better, get more depth. But that hurts because,
Yeah, I mean, they're only 4 games behind in their division.
Yeah.
Fighting for a wild card if not.
So, of course, his statement said, I would never knowledgeably ingest banned substance and put the game that I loved at risk. When I found out I tested positive, I was shocked. I took great care of my body and have an extreme regiment diet. Based on the muscular amount of my brief in my body, I've learned it's likely to the combination of something I ingested. I've been educated about PEDs through the RBI program and baseball factory while growing up. I know I do not need any of that to perform on the baseball field. All athletic successes come from my hard work, focus, dedication to the game. And, of course, he apologized to Billy Bean, the organization. He's devastated. So, but there's a lot where ingestions going on every time. That's what you hear.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, is this stuff really in some of this stuff? Like, I understand, like, third world countries and stuff, but if you have a diet like he said he has, like, why are you eating this random stuff? Or did you get some bad meat? Like some people said, like, it's pork and stuff. I've heard excuses about.
Right. So I'm not sure. I mean, I really don't know too much about those in the details, but like you said, it does make you think. And at the same time, it should also be in the back of the mind of the MLB as well. They need to know what these things are in and what to tell their players, because you guys, if they're really unknowingly ingesting it, it's really not their fault. It's not like they're pumping steroids. It's different.
And exactly, like, what classifies as being popping?
Yeah.
Is there like a limit that's supposed to be in your blood or I forgot your pee? That's like, okay, this is noticeable. Like, can it, like, what percentage is like wouldn't you popping, or just any percentile that's in your urine do you fail? I really wonder that.
Yeah,
because that would suck if you get like 0.001, like, oh, there's something in there. We must have just got you.
Exactly. They need to do a better job because, like I said, some of these guys might be innocent.
Yeah,
but they don't. Like you said, they might have ingested something they didn't know about. If
sucks.
It's clear as day, like, if you got a guy there looking like Mark McGwire and he looked like a
Crushing
small guy,
home
yeah,
runs.
exactly, and he looked like a little guy before that, then obviously there's something going on here.
Yeah, like average, hitting this year, 14 home runs, nothing special. Like, solid. I believe this is third year in the major league, so it's nothing.
So it's natural that he's going to be getting better. Yes,
Yeah.
obviously. He's getting more comfortable and trusting the process. But then something like this, then that throws a monkey wrench in the whole plan because you're basically missing a half a year.
Yeah, you are. So you're, like I said, we're going to miss the rest of the season and at least the first month, most likely next year. And then you're not. I'm wondering if he's not eligible for the playoffs both years, or is it just this year? Because I remember something like if you get popped, you can't be in the playoffs. So I'm wondering how that's going to work that.
Yeah, I don't want to assume, but it makes sense to me for it just to be this year. But you're right. You don't know because it does carry on to next season. All right.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But, man, and then since, we're a little behind, but we're still going to go with what a trade deadline.
Yeah, man, I was super stoked seeing all these names thrown out there.
I was like, okay, let me watch this MLB Network. I had it on my phone on the way home, and it was just like the rumors were just buzzing. They were having a great time. Like, Twitter was going off. You couldn't keep up with these names. It's, I think, was the best and most active trade deadline ever. That's what it feels like. And of course, after the 4 p.m. deadline, then finally the trades are coming out. We'll say the BC level trades that got in like just at the nick of time.
Yeah, but one of the trades that actually sticks out to me though is the Giants picking up Chris Bryant.
Yeah, which was one of the last ones that finally broke.
Yeah,
we thought Bryant was to be one of the first ones to get traded from Chicago because everyone's like, most likely Craig Kimbrell and Bryant are guaranteed. Baez and Rizzo, they kind of might hold on to him.
Yeah,
but Rizzo was the first one left, and then you got Kimbrell, then you got Baez, and then finally Bryant.
Well, so yeah, and like I said, with the Bryant situation, what makes it special to me is that the Giants are currently in first place in their division.
Well, all the trades are happening around them in that division.
Exactly,
like, you guys have to do something,
right? And they did something. you finally have somebody on their team that you can like relate.
It makes sense for Giants too, because after when they were talking about the Mets and how he is versatile, that where he can play everywhere. Another team came to light was Giants. That's a veteran where can play places everywhere. It's kind of their mentality.
And can actually help the team. And what's good for them is that they've held this lead, and now Mike Yaz is back now.
Yep.
So who can tell? I mean, yes, the other teams in the division are crazy good, but they're still holding their own.
As of right now, as of Friday, the 6th?
Yep.
They have a 4-game lead.
That's right, a 4-game lead.
It's insane
on the Dodgers.
Yeah,
and we'll get to the Dodgers. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's think into the Dodgers.
This next trade we're talking about Dodgers.
This trade was sick. This is like the first one that happened, right?
They made like some little trades. I remember
this is the first one that made me
go.
But
this was the big one, which were like because first earlier in the day, Max Scherzer's like Padres are almost done. Of course, there's a little more deal to this because Scherzer has the 10-5 rule where he's been in the league for 10 years, 5 with the current team, so he can veto whatever. So it's kind of like, does he got to go through this? Then it's like, oh, wait, Dodgers are making a push. Other teams are making a push. Like, they're probably calling, like, what did they give you? We'll give you more. Then next, when you heard, like, oh, Scherzer's going to the Dodgers with Trey Turner, I'm like, excuse me?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you guys don't know on the West Coast, let me tell you, Trey Turner is one of the best middle infielders, in my opinion, in the game. So that's big.
Yeah,
that's
was
huge.
And I'm like, okay, what's the haul? Because you're getting Scherzer for a rental, and you got Trey for the rest of this year and next year. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what is the haul? And it's their top 2 prospects and 2 middle end prospects.
Yeah, because obviously the Dodgers are thinking we're still here now. We're going to go back and win again. Because if you think about it, what they did preseason when they picked up the pitcher, Bauer. When they picked up Bauer, I was like, this is crazy. They're already a great team, and now they got him. Well, now they got Scherzer and Turner, which are arguably 2 of the best players on the Nats team. Their team is super stoked. It's like the Yankees, man.
Yeah, so, of course, they had prospects they can give up, which they gave up Kelbert Ruiz, which is their top prospect, which is a catcher, which Nationals needed, so that worked. And then Joshua Gray, which is their second prospect, which is a pitcher, which that almost replaced because he's had – I think they just called him up recently, so he had a couple starts, so he will replace Scherzer on the roster for the Nationals. And then you get 2 middle prospects to kind of fill in your roster, and you need a catcher, you got your pitcher, so it's like it's a win-win. And then I think they tried to negotiate with Turner, and then it was like not working. The negotiations wasn't working well, so you send them out. And then it makes sense for the Dodgers for Turner because he's a insurance, because if Seager does walk, it's in contract year, you have at least a shortstop for 1 more year. And you could sign him. You couldn't see what he wants and might be willing to deal.
Yeah, and like you said, with Turner on their team, I mean, he'll most likely play second base, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But he can also play the outfield. He can play center field. And that gives them an opportunity to put Chris Taylor, the local boy here, anywhere else.
It's Dave Roberts, I think, has the easiest job when it comes to the lineup card. Like, who's playing when, who's on the mound. Unfortunately, he lost most likely Clayton Kershaw to, I think, September now. So glad you got Max now, because it's like, okay, but we still have a pitching problem. But apparently they're in negotiations. They're close to signing Cole Hamels because, he's been a free agent.
Yeah.
So if he comes back healthy for a playoff push,
Right,
Man.
but also like you said, I mean, the Nationals, they didn't just give up the team; they got pretty good players in return.
They got two guys they could really need.
Right, they weren't expected to win the World Series the year they did, and then they lost some players last year. So this year they're like, look, we're in a position where we're not going to be competitive. We have the guys to get rid of so we can build a team to be better next season. And that's what they're doing. So I think it was a win-win for both teams.
Yeah, and then Dodgers got Daniel Duffy from the Royals to be a player to name later.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, there's a veteran arm that you need. And that's when you start hearing about Scherzer going to the Padres. And then I wonder, like, look, let's just call the Nationals, see what we can do. And then Turner, they said everyone was available but Soto, so I was real surprised when they said Turner was available.
Right. I mean, in my opinion, if I was the Nationals owners or whatever, I'm thinking to myself, Turner's off limits too because he is so good and young.
Yeah.
But, hey, who knows? The guys they got in return, they could make a big push later.
Yeah, and all the people they trade for, Kyle Schwarber was a 1-year deal, so they got rid of him, got a prospect. Lesnar was a 1-year deal, they got a prospect for, so I think Josh Harrison was another one they traded to get prospects. So ultimately, between Cubs and Nationals, they dropped out because they knew they weren't going to win this year. But honestly, Nationals are probably not that far behind rebuilding from what they got.
They're not. You're right, and that's why they probably felt confident in this move because, like you said, Soto's still there. They got people to build around. They still have veteran guys on the lineup like Zimmerman. I think they're in a good position.
Yeah,
I like
it. They're going to still compete. You're going to see what these young kids got this year for the rest of the way, and then you make your call to add some pieces in the offseason.
All right, well, speaking of
Cubs.
The Cubs.
Man, okay, so like we said, Rizzo went to which I think was shocking going to the Yankees.
Okay.
I'm like, wow, they trade Rizzo. I thought he'd be the one they'd keep. Baez, he was willing to take a pay cut to stay with. But then when you heard the information about, I was willing to play second base to play with Lindor, that's kind of telling me he's willing, trying to throw hey, Mets, come get me.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm like, okay, so is Rizzo going to be the guy that they're going to build around? But I'm like, but he's a little older. I'm wondering. Yeah. And then it came out, you're going to the Yankees for some prospects.
Yes, the Yankees, we know what they do. They were expected to run away with this year, and they have not.
No, they needed some left-handed bats.
So it makes sense that they pick up Rizzo. Because they, like you said, they absolutely need it, but they didn't stop there. They got another big one.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, Gallo.
Yes, Joey Gallo to the Yankees.
They already four prospects.
That's what I'm saying. So, what do pitchers do when they face Yankees now?
Yeah,
you got Judge, you got Giancarlo, you got Joey Gallo. You just everybody there is freaking smasher, dude.
Yeah, it's man, But the one thing that I don't think they did, which I know they needed to do, was pitching. Once some of these pitchers started going, I'm like, I don't think Yankees can get one of these guys that's left, or who's willing to pay. They don't have the prospects that probably want to give up to get a pitcher.
I wonder if they were in on anything with Scherzer related.
Scherzer said he did not want to go.
Okay,
he refused.
Because the reason I'm saying that is because the Yankees know if they do make it to the show, they're going to be most likely up against a Dodgers team that's stacked.
Yeah,
and you don't want to throw Scherzer in the mix there.
Yeah, apparently
nobody wants to face that team. Actually,
nix that real quick. The most weirdest thing is seeing Joey Gallo clean shaved. When someone put the meme up and said this looks like a jail picture because Joey's always had that beard since we've known him. It's I'm like that's one thing I hate about the Yankees, which some players refuse to go there because of the beard rule. You have to be clean shaved. They don't believe in that, but it's just so weird seeing him with a smiley face. And then, of course, the funniest thing is. Back to Cubs is Baez going to the Mets. So all three of the big three, Rizzo, Baez, and Chris Bryant, all homered in their debut for the other teams. I'm like, that is hilarious.
Yeah. Like you said, as Lindor for the Mets kind of struggled in his beginnings, Baez has come out hot, and he's been making big plays.
Until last night.
Well, yeah, but, for the most part.
Sombrero last night.
For the most part, though.
But the most interesting thing with Baez is when Lindor gets back here, and hopefully in about 2 weeks or so, is what that middle infield is going to be covered. Because you're thinking, even, they start talking about Baez might be playing third because McNeil is better at second than third base defensively.
And I would agree.
So who knows, but still, that's a stacked corner, no matter middle infield or the opposite field.
Well, and the bats.
Yeah.
All three of those guys. Like I said, McNeil's starting to do his thing again. He's getting his average back up.
He had a great July.
Yeah.
So I think really no other shock besides, Craig Kimbrell staying in Chicago but going to the other side. I'm like, well, White Sox have just added the best bullpen possible now. Already had Liam Hendricks. Now you add,
Yeah,
Craig Kimbrell. I'm like,
Kimbrell with a .49 ERA.
wow.
And Kimbrell's got a 15.7 K to 9 ratio and 23 saves, and Hendricks has got a 2.58 ERA with 14.1 to 9 and 25 saves. So yes, solid. The White Sox need that, and that's great. Anybody could use that.
Yeah.
That is a pretty good one.
And then the other two kind of trades of Toronto get Brad Hand, so they got their closer from Nationals,
and the Blue Jays also got Jose Barrios.
Yes, which that's the one I kind of want to talk last. We can talk a little about.
Okay.
The rumor was that Mets did contacted, Twins about him, and the asking price was ridiculous.
I'm sure.
Apparently, they wanted McNeil and prospects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, for a guy who's having like a 3 almost a 4 ERA this year, I understand control.
Right. But McNeil is such a high average hitter every year. He's a huge asset. I wouldn't want to give him up with prospects.
So what they gave up is right-handed pitcher Simon Woods Richardson. I'm like, okay. But then they gave up Austin Martin, which was still the draft last year when he fell to 4 to Toronto, which works out perfect because they have a stacked infield. We're all wondering where Austin's going to play, and they've been playing him in the outfield in the minor leagues because they figure that's where he's going to have to go.
Yeah.
So now Minnesota has Austin Martin, which could be your infield. Mm-hmm. Hell, people said he is so fast and good that he could actually play center field. That's why some people were wondering if they're about to trade Byron Buxton because their contracts are nowhere close.
Okay.
But it didn't happen. Buxton's still a Twin for now. But I wonder if, the rest of the way Twins evaluate Austin Martin, do we trade Buxton now in the offseason to get more prospects instead of it before the trade deadline?
Okay. And, I like this, though, by the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
because
they needed one more pitcher.
The reason I like this is because they're not a team just going to roll over and die when everybody else is making big moves. They're like, hey, we're still here. Yeah, we're in the game.
They're still in third place. They're still trying.
And the best thing about this is that they still have control of Jose Barrios through 2022.
Yeah.
So that's amazing for them as well. So, yeah, I expect the Blue Jays to stay in contention with whatever way they can because it's hard to compete with the Yankees, money and everybody else in that league or that division. But, yeah, it was a good pickup.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked it. I was like, okay, out of all teams to get him, I like the Blue Jays going for it. Like I said, currently, yes, they're only 6.5 back in fourth place, but from second place, they're only 5 games out with a month and a half to go. So it's gonna be interesting to watch that division. So, but yeah, so I guess the next question for us is our favorite trades. And I gotta say, I think it's the Max Scherzer and Trey Turner going to the Dodgers.
That was absolutely my favorite trade. Once I saw Max Scherzer, oh cool, he's going to the Dodgers. And I saw with Trey Turner.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it, man. To the Dodgers,
and it worked out. I'm like, who are they getting? And then they're sending their top 2 prospects to Washington.
This is like playing a video game. Yeah. This is like you have a solid, you have a solid team, league. Yes, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm just going to steal the 2 best players over here, or one of the 2 best players over here, and put them on my team just because. Man, that's my favorite trade by far.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'm a Mets fan. I like Baez coming to this. Yeah. Awesome, but the shock factor of Scherzer and Trey Turner.
Yeah, we knew Scherzer was going. We're like, okay, now where is he going to go? But the share that Turner was involved to get, of course, it had to be to get those 2 prospects because you ain't trading top 2 prospects for a rental for Max Scherzer. For
especially since Max Scherzer's kind of the Max Scherzer of old.
Yeah, he's slightly declining a little.
You got an upside because Trey Turner's in his prime and he's not stopping.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked that. That's my favorite trade by far.
Yeah, and other than that, White Sox, like I said, adding Kimball,
oh yeah.
So you're talking about your guys are gonna have to go 7 innings, if that, 6, come playoffs, and then you got Liam
and I also like what the Yankees did because they have to.
Yeah.
So
I'll give them a B because they didn't add pitching.
Yeah. Well, yes, I agree. Right. For grading this, for sure.
Yeah.
I like the Mets trade, obviously.
Yeah. I love Baez, but I think
the Dodgers, you can't just not.
Baez would be better once Lindor gets back. I want to see them together because them chemistry just being. Lindor being in the dugout watching his friend play, I can imagine what they're going to be like on the field, especially turning double plays. But
the only thing we're missing is DeGrom healthy and Syndergaard back. And
I was like, that's what I said. It's like a highlight. It's like, okay, look, we got Baez. We're all like, yes, we got another All-Star. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, DeGrom will be out for a couple more weeks.
Yes, well, if people just if people just look back on these years with the Mets and just look at the teams, not looking at any footage or anything, just looking on paper, these guys were on this team and they didn't do this. What? It's because it's injuries every year.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's unfortunate. I'm like,
on paper, I'm loving it
because I was like, okay, he's gonna throw, maybe make one rehab, and he should be back, and then like, well, nope, he felt something.
Exactly.
Don't say that to me. But it sucks. But man, right. It's interesting.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how these trades pan out.
Yeah, like so far, Scherzer had his 1 start. He had 10 strikeouts. Did well. Of course, Baez is hitting 2 home runs. Like I said, I think Brazil's up to 2 or 3 home runs for the Yankees.
Yep.
Gallo just hit his first and had a curtain call last night in Yankee Stadium. So,
all right.
So far, so good with Solid. And then, but like the B level, we're like, okay, like we didn't understand. Like I think the one that I definitely didn't understand was Seattle making an early trade after they did a walk-off grand slam. Like, okay, you're actually going to try, and then didn't do nothing else. And the other thing I was very shocked on was Trevor Story not being traded. I'm like, you're telling me you'd rather just hold on to this guy and get a draft compensation for him because he's not re-signing with y'all. You can try.
Right.
He is not. He's seen where this franchise is going. It's full rebuild mode. And not even trading John Gray, too. I thought they were going to be like a package deal, like kind of what the Mets did with Baez with the pitcher they got.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be John Gray and Trevor Story going somewhere, which I figured Yankees would make sense. You get a pitcher and you get Trevor Story, which you kind of talked about. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. And he's still in Colorado for the next 2 months until he's going to chuck the deuces come September.
All right.
So,
well, speaking of free agents and minor leaguers, let's talk about the Olympics.
Yeah, man. Olympics has been fun to watch.
It sure has. My favorite part of it is just seeing like these guys. Like you got the guy for the Braves. I'm having a brain fart of his name right now, but he's the guy who was a speed skater in the Winter Olympics, and now he's competing in the Summer Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like seeing the Todd father out there doing his thing.
Yeah,
Todd Frazier's been doing good.
It's a good mix of veterans and prospects on the Team USA. I honestly think it's a little unfair that the South Koreans, the Korean baseball team, and then Japan are pretty much all-star teams because both leagues stopped their leagues to let players go to the Olympics.
But, you know, it might not be fair, but however, it's not their fault that our leagues are going on at the same time. And also, they look, this is the Olympics. It might mean bigger things to them. Yeah. They're like, hey, this is for your country. We're a little lax on it.
The unfortunate bad thing about the Olympics is that we're not seeing the intense, loving baseball fans of Japan.
Oh, I know.
Like that stadium
I was looking forward to that.
Packed, that's
chanting.
Why Japan wanted baseball back in this Olympics because
that's their thing.
That's one of their big things.
Yeah.
And, it's not in next year. We're all but they really wanted it, and it's just unfortunate not seeing the fan experience, which we all know. We've seen the exhibition games in Tokyo and stuff, how insane they are. Because imagine what the atmosphere would be like right now, man. But it's interesting seeing some of these players out there, and it's very fun, to see these.
But like I said, I get it though. If you're representing your country and you want to bring the best from your country, that's what you would do. Fill them up with all-stars. What else you can do? And we saw South Korea baseball, and we know that there's a lot of trash. So I'm glad they had to pick the good players. There's some guys that are really questionable. But even though they did that, USA is going for gold.
Yeah,
they beat South Korea in the quarters. I believe it's a quarters or semi.
The second semi. So
second semi.
In the quarters, they lost to Japan, which that game was the best game I think of the Olympics because it was back and forth. Japan.
That was a high-scoring game.
Yes, because Japan finally, I think if I remember while I was watching it, the 7th inning finally had a 1-2-3. Like they either got hit on base, making moves what Japan does, and they went to 10th inning, which I was confused. I walked away because I was working, and I'm like, damn, they already got 2 people on. No, in the Olympics, you get person at second and first when you go to extra innings.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh. And of course, the bottom 10th, Japan, of course, the home team bunted man over to third, single to win the game.
Yep.
So they automatically went to the semifinals. Then America beat Dominican Republic to face the loser of Japan, Korea for the semifinals. So once Korea lost, USA got to play them in the other semifinal game, chance to go to the gold medal game, which they did. So USA is going for the gold medal against Japan
on Saturday.
Technically tomorrow morning as we're recording this at 6 a.m.
Which that should be good, man. That should be good.
Should be good. I really enjoy it. So I really, I'm definitely getting up early to watch that. So, but before we talk more about Olympics, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. So, yeah, with the Olympics, the USA and Japan hopefully having a great game. I hope it goes real close, another nail biter scenario. But with the Olympics, well, before actually going to the Olympics, during the trials to make the Olympics, a lot of the baseball players here in America got a chance to use the baseball and loved it, took it back to some teams, and are still loving it over there because how much better the ball is compared to the major league ball.
Oh yeah,
they are in straight loving this ball.
They're actually they're gonna get the ball right and they're gonna take a look at it.
So the tournament. So, who was it? I got some quotes here. Let's see. Joe Ryan, who is a pitcher for the USA, said, "We need this ball in America." He's a starting pitcher for the minute. It's amazing. It's perfect. Every pitcher out there, of course, complain about the current ball in Major League Baseball. Slick. It's inconsistent. There's a problem. But the ball this is the same company that uses over in Japan. The company makes about, 3,500 boxes of 12 balls per month. So they make sure it's perfect. But Scott Kazmir, former 13-year veteran, said it's definitely a different baseball. He's like, if I want to compare the two balls, I like this SSK ball a lot better.
Oh, okay.
Mexico reliever Alvarez Perez, who's 19-year Major League veteran, says the ball moves more than usual than him, perhaps because it has a stickier grip. Scott McGrath of USA said this is the third season over in Japan. Said he didn't see the difference in the pitch movement, but added because the rosin bag is another major factor in Japan, it's better than the rocks that's over in America. So just a little bit of rosin, a little bit of sweat, it gets real sticky. Even it's not just pitchers. First baseman Teston Kress said in the tournament standout said this ball is definitely different. It's easier to hit. I think they're a little wider. So who has 3 home runs so far in the Olympics? So he can definitely probably see the ball better if it's a little wider. But yeah, it's very interesting. Who's it? Ryan, who we said earlier, he is in the Minnesota Twins organization, said, both him and Kazmar said it seems a little smaller. Several major league pitchers have asked to bring him balls back. He's ordered to give the company his address for shipping during a post-game news conference, tossed 6 innings in the American opener, had a great time. He said, it is it. I can say it enough. It's the best baseball I've ever touched.
Wow. Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And like you said, SSK, I mean, they've been around for a while, and I've only known them more of like a glove company.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got solid stuff, man. That's pretty cool. I wonder, that would be interesting to see how.
And my thing, if how he said it, it's like the biggest thing for him is the rosin. If it's more rockier in America, is more like a powder, so they use it. Because I think they said even like some of the games you can watch so far in the Olympics, every pitch you see like almost a puff of dust coming off their pitch because it's so much finer and I guess more powder.
But why wouldn't they be able to use that same rosin? I remember when I was a pitcher, probably like when I was like 12, I used to have a rosin bag that wasn't the rocky stuff. It was like the powdery stuff.
I guess the MLB used more of the rocky stuff. Okay. I guess, but yeah, just imagine. So, say for example, like we said, next Olympics, unfortunately in Paris, baseball is not in it. But then one after that is in 2028, even though it's 2021 now, but still, it's in LA. Yeah, it's a time to bring by then baseball back to in Olympics for good. Maybe Major League puts their season on hold to let all their players play. DR will have their full stack. You're talking
what do you
like
mean competitive, man?
Because think about it, in 8 years, Mike Trout could play. Ohtani can go play for Japan like he used to in the World Baseball Classic. So you're thinking World Baseball Classic, but on a bigger scale because you're actually competing for an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be insane. Because most sports do it. Hockey they do on hold for the Winter Olympics. We're not going to talk about American football. That's never going to happen. God,
well, there's no competition.
That'd be demolishing.
That's why it's an American sport, man. There's no competition. Although I was watching the women's rugby, man. They were getting it. Like, so rugby is really close and it's brutal. Yeah. I like it. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to see football.
No, I don't think ever.
No.
But
plus these guys can get injured too easily. Yeah. You can't play games like. You got 2 weeks? That would not happen.
Yeah, and I think it'd be more because a lot of players don't play the World Baseball Classic because it's right before the MLB season. So like, I'm more focused on the season now. This will be the middle season, so it'll be warmed up, ready to go. You take 3 weeks off or maybe 2 weeks because really, this tournament they only started playing last week, so you're talking about a week. So really, if you do 2 weeks break or 2.5, you got a couple days of training to get them together. You start the tournament, and then a couple days after they go back to the team. It could be something that's possibly done. I don't know if we'll ever see it.
Yeah,
it'd be awesome to see some of the stars.
It'd be close, man.
But it's just an idea. But man, I
guess it depends on when they throw the months around. Like, what if they could do it close enough to the All-Star break to make it an Olympic break?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Do the All-Star game and then go into winter break. I mean, Olympic break maybe.
Give them extra time to heal and stuff before we get back right into. I don't know. You never know. A couple years from now, it could happen.
Yeah.
But I just want to make another time about Eddie Alvarez is the guy's name for the Marlins.
Well, with USA in the gold medal game, they're guaranteed at least a silver.
And he's won a silver already as a
so
speed
he's going to
skater.
be, I think, the sixth person to win medals in both the summer and winter.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And he'd only be the third American to do it. Sixth person ever, like you said, but third American. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he's guaranteed. So he's going to do it.
Yeah, he's going at least getting a silver.
Yeah.
He might get his first gold.
Yeah.
So,
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
All those years of training as a speed skater, and now you're going to get gold
Converts
as a baseball player.
Had a chance to make
That's nuts.
And then, of course, and being the flag bearer for USA since he is a two-sport Olympian. And
baseball wasn't even an option. He probably wasn't thinking when he was doing the speed skating stuff because it wasn't in there still, right?
Yeah.
Like they took it out.
I think, because this is the first time since, I think 06, 04? Of course, U.S. won the gold back in 2000, I think.
Yeah, but he won his medal in 2014.
Yeah.
So baseball wasn't even on the radar. No. But yeah, anyways, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, as far as the balls are concerned, man, yeah, I'd like to see how they'd work out and see what the pitchers think about them.
Yeah.
Especially since we're having this issue with sticky substances, and it seems like rosin and sweat are working with this.
Like, honestly, if I was Major League, I'd be ordering a couple cases of those to test between the two balls, break them apart, dissect them to figure out, call them up. Like, what do you use? What leather?
But
to try to figure out
if they're willing to do that. But the issue is that MLB just purchased Rawlings, right, or whatever.
They have a small stake technically in it,
but they're getting rid of their mud. It's basically their ball now, right? So that's what the issue is. So do you think they're going to want to go get a third party ball? They want control of it all. I mean,
yeah,
they're trying to get the monopoly.
They might try to. I said just order the balls and dissect them, take them to the lab. Figure out what's the main difference and try to replicate it.
It's going to be kind of hard if you find out that the hide is from the Wagyu beef cow or something. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to do that.
The humidity's at this level. Exactly. They kept the leather.
They massage the cow before. Alan, it's not happening.
It's not, but
I mean, that's not sustainable for them. That's why they do them in small batches, right?
I think they said even the Chinese and the Korean companies that make balls are inconsistent compared to theirs.
Yeah.
So it might be
that's what I'm saying.
It might be because they're a small factory and they make sure everything's perfect instead of mass producing balls.
But do they produce the balls for the Japanese league?
Yes.
Well, then it could be sustainable. It has to be because they have enough games.
And they said also, I think they said high schoolers use it. That's why I said they put about 4,000 boxes a month.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure they could crank it up, but I'm not sure what they're doing. I'm sure we'll try to find out, though.
Yeah, I think if really how much players have involved and how much they love, I'm almost certain someone in Major League is like, yo, look, order 5 boxes. Let's go do some research and figure out why our players love this ball so much better.
All right.
It's going to be interesting.
So, moving on.
Yeah.
Now that we got it, like you said, it's the game, the matchup that we kind of thought it would be.
Yeah.
USA versus Japan. Yes, these are two. I mean, yes, that's kind of what I expected to be.
And then Korea we knew would be top ones, which we had to face them. Japan beat them. U.S. beat them to go to the gold medal game. So I'm actually about to look up, see, I can't remember who won the bronze medal game, but because that was today. But if it's anything like the game the other day, let's see. Who's playing bronze? No, I don't want who won bronze. No, who's playing it?
So it's Dominican Republic versus South Korea?
Yeah. Are they playing today? Technically, probably later. Yeah, 11 p.m. tonight.
Oh, great! Oh man,
yeah,
we might catch a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was against the Dominican Republic the other night. I was like, because I thought it was another 6 a.m. game. So I'm at work. I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. And I was like, and so I was at 11 p.m. I was like, I'm going to bed because I got to be up early, so I'm not gonna be able to watch that game. So.
But that's also what I was thinking myself, though. I was thinking, yes, I thought Japan was going to be there and USA, but I also thought one of the Latin countries would be there, and as you see, Dominican Republic.
Yep.
And I bet their team's pretty solid.
Well, they have Bautista is on the Dominican Republic team.
Oh, nice.
So if they win, he gets a bronze medal. Like
nice.
Some of these key veterans that are on some of these teams is pretty cool.
And that's another reason why I like the World Baseball Classic and the Olympics and stuff like that, because you see some players who might not be in the league anymore, but you get to see them play again.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, like the World Baseball Classic, when America won a couple years ago, it's like that was a lot of, fun.
I was excited. I was waking up at like 6 and 1 just to watch the game.
Games, yeah,
and I'm not a morning person, so I was stoked.
I know that. Alan likes his sleep. Like when we were growing up, Alan did not wake up before 11 most days.
Yeah, I was up watching these games, and they were like dark outside still.
So that's when I first found out. Like 6 a.m. I said, I'm at work. Perfect. I can watch it on my phone, or if I'm out front, I can turn on the TVs and watch it.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, these games should be exciting. Like you said, there's a game tonight at 11. Yep. Obviously, you guys aren't going to hear this before that happens, so we'll know who wins.
Most likely, hopefully, I'll be posting this tomorrow morning as the gold medal game happens. So
if we had to make our odds on that game, who do you got? I'm going to go Dominican Republic.
God, it's gonna be. I hope it's close to the edge. I think DR might get a slight edge.
I agree. But the podcast is going to go for South Korea because we're basing our logo from the bat flips that we love.
Like KBO, the Korean League, when they USA beat them the other night, it was close until I think, if I remember correctly, the 8th inning, USA broke it open.
Yeah, man. But in baseball, you never know.
Yeah.
It could have easily been a Korean win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because right when Japan beat them, like, great, now we got to face the other all-star team. Because at first, when watching that USA-Japan, man, I'm like, yo, this is getting intense. Like, USA hit a 2-run home run to take a 3-run lead. I'm like, cool. And then Japan erased it real quick. I'm like, and then they're up by 1, and then Japan scored in the bottom of the 9th to force extras. And then the whole 2-man on, like, Japan played small ball and won. Bunt a person over and get a single.
Yeah,
and the funny thing is, the single was their worst offensive player. The catcher is the reason he made the roster because he's defensive. They said,
"Oh yeah."
They're like, watching, he's gonna try to bunt maybe, and then he hits a single to the outfield and win the game.
Right, and like you said, and that's what's so great about baseball and the Dominican Republic and Japan and USA. We all have different styles that we play. USA likes to play long ball game, and they have solid pitchers. Japan will play the small ball game, and they're going to just focus on getting that run in.
And then
it's
the
crazy
pitching in Japan.
Well, yeah.
The nasty, not the
filthiness.
Heat.
Yes.
Like, they had one guy come
out. They do
out.
have Tanaka.
Yes.
They do have Masahiro Tanaka on the team.
Which he's the one that started against the Team USA and they knocked him out early.
Well, yes, because
I think he was good through 2, and then finally in the 3rd they got to him.
Right. But see, that's why they need to bring in one of their dudes who are throwing them freaking the splitters or something.
They did.
Yeah.
I think he got through the 7th and the 8th perfect.
Yeah. So
I was just watching. I was like, God,
so get it. They're going to dissect the last game and they're going to make corrections.
Oh yeah.
So this will be an interesting game for sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What do you think the score is going to be in this one?
If pitching comes wise, I feel it's going to be like 5-4 again. Like
something
a little bit lower.
Okay.
I think they're on because this is all the marbles. So
they're kind of a tight game. You don't think it's going to be like a blowout?
I think once someone gets in trouble early, because this is just the game.
The game.
They're going to throw every pitcher out there probably possible. So I feel like it's going to be low scoring.
My bones want to say it's going to be like 12-11. So you're saying low. I guess I'm going to go with 8-6.
5-4.
I'm going to go 8-6.
Yeah.
8-6 USA.
I love USA to win, especially Mike Soroka to get his gold medal as the manager. Because, Girardi was the manager until he took the job of the Phillies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, either way you look at it, just keep in mind that this is going to be a well-earned medal.
Yeah.
So regardless of who wins, it's going to be earned.
And, certain teams are getting up, watching their prospects, see how they perform, and then, hell, like Todd Frazier might get a call after this Olympics, maybe to try to make a veteran guy they might need off the bench or somewhere to help.
Yeah, no, he still got, and he can bring it.
I think the funny thing they were talking about the other day is his nephews on the same team where Todd Frazier was in the Little League World Series. They actually qualified to advance to possibly play in the Little League World Series.
Very cool.
And his nephew was the one who hit like the walk-off home run. He said, so 20 years later, another Frazier is possibly could evolve the Little League World Series.
Another thing I thought was cool is the Japan's team name, Samurai Japan.
Yeah,
that's
Samurais.
That's awesome, man. Anyways, it's gonna be great. I can't wait for that to happen.
So speaking of Japan, and here in America, the MLB, is Shohei Ohtani having the greatest season of all time?
Is he?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say
since now with his pitching outing, he now has a sub-3 ERA. Yeah, like a 2.9 now.
2.9. Yeah, I'm gonna say he is. I just imagine how hard it really is to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's killing it. It's not like he's like 15th in home runs or something. You know, he's not in the middle pack. He is at the top with the boys, you know, and he's also keeping his own as a pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, let's run through these stats, man, because I am with you, and I completely agree that he's having a great season.
Yeah, it's very interesting, you know, through All-Star break, like, okay, was like guy, and then pitching. And
so according to Baseball Reference, let's go over his batting stats. His WAR is 6.8. He's got 100 hits right now, 37 home runs. He's batting .270. That's pretty solid. And he's got 82 RBIs. Let's keep in mind, guys, he's
Trout.
On the Angels.
Without Trout.
And
without Rendon.
Without Rendon, because he's out for the season.
Yep.
This dude is out here on a subpar team, making them shine, or his stats are shining. How do you put up 82 RBIs with no Trout and in a subpar team? He's killing it.
Yes.
And he's a DH.
And remember, most of those home runs are solos because no one's on base.
That's what I'm saying. If this guy was thrown in the mix, let's say he was on the Dodgers or the Yankees, oh my gosh, he'd probably have 50 home runs, 100 RBIs, and we wouldn't be able to stop talking about him. What is his pitching
his
stats?
pitching stats in 16 games, he's 6-1.
6-1.
With a 2.93 ERA, 86 innings, 106 strikeouts with a 1.09 whip.
Yeah. So I can probably say he's having one of the greatest seasons, period.
Yeah. So in the last 7 games, pitching wise, he's 4-0 with a 3.03 ERA in his 7 games, with 30 hits allowed, 13 earned runs, only 8 walks, but 38 strikeouts with a .98 whip. In his last 7 games.
So if you get a chance to even see his games, just sit back and enjoy the show, because you're watching living history.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, he's that impressive right now that you just have to sit there and admire it. Don't just nitpick here and there. Just take a good look.
And then, like I said, currently he has a 3-run home run lead over first place to, you know, Vlad Jr., who's on pace to try to compete for the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
But Ohtani is in all his limelight, like, because of what Ohtani's doing.
Just think about it. He already has 37 home runs. When he breaks 40, just think about the season you have to have. You have to be pitching a 2.93 ERA with 40 home runs or so.
Well, as I said, before All-Star break, he's on pace to hit 60 home runs.
Yeah, if he gets to 50, I'm shocked. More than impressed. I don't even know what to call it.
We talk about, like, if he had like around 3 ERA and 40 home runs, that's a great season.
More than great.
He is 3 home runs away from 40.
Yeah, and
he has a sub 3 ERA.
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, you got 2 All-Star players for one. It's better than the Scherzer Turner trade. This guy's doing it himself.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't even know how to explain it. You can't explain it because it hasn't happened since Babe Ruth, and nobody here has seen him play.
No, yeah. Like,
so
Babe Ruth did not do it mostly in the same season. He had a couple years of pitching, then he finally broke out as a hitter, but nothing like this in the same season.
You're right. So, yeah, he came out in the beginning as a two-way player, and they solidified him as a one-role guy. They might have thought about doing that now, but with what he's doing, you can't separate it. You got to keep him as he is. You have to. So that means, to me, he's never going to be a Met. He's always going to be a two-way player. Maybe if he loses the juice one time, he might be a DH somewhere, but that's still in the AL.
So, but yeah, with Ohtani, I think he still technically doesn't qualify for the ERA lead or like on the stat raws, but how his stats is, if he gets in there, he has the second best ERA in the American League. Because Kyle Gibson, of course, got traded to the Phillies, so he's about to lose it. He's technically second right now, but Lance Lynn has the 2.04 as the lead for the American League.
Yeah, a guy who's solely focusing. A guy solely focusing on pitching only.
Yeah,
resting 4 days out of the night. This guy's out here balling. He's out here playing.
Yeah, pitching, and the next night I'm DHing or playing outfield.
Look, man, in my honest opinion, MVP. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, he literally has to miss the last month of the season for Vlad to probably take it.
And even if we shut him down today, what he's
going to get first place votes.
What he has done is impressive.
Yeah,
it's more than impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. This guy is a monster, and man, oh man, what a thing to watch.
Imagine if he becomes like damn near perfect the rest of the way. Then it's going to be, and then say Lance Lynn messes up. Then you're talking about him possibly winning both awards if he lights out the rest of the way, and then Lance Lynn and the other pitchers stumble a little bit and let him catch up, where it could be even closer for Cy Young then.
Yeah, and then think about, so now you're talking about him as a Cy Young Award winner, and if he's still playing at the end of the season, like you're saying, now just imagine what his batting stats look like. He's batting about, let's say, 280, 285, but he'll back it up with like 50 home runs and 120 RBIs. Oh my gosh, what a player.
Yeah.
That's the guy I want to be. I want to create my avatar guy to be him in the video game.
Yeah, and then you think about it, that'd be like, okay, that's time for a pay raise. He is going to wait. I almost certain he's going to walk away from the Angels.
He has to. I don't know where he's going to go.
Like, unless they prove himself, I think he's under one more year next year. I
don't like him in the pins and stripes, man. I would like him in a different team.
I almost think he's going to stay West Coast.
That's what I'm thinking.
So if you're thinking that, you hate to say it, but you're looking at Dodgers or Padres.
But if he plays for the Dodgers.
Or, you get some shocker, that young team that up there in Seattle maybe clears some money and he follows Ichiro and becomes the two-way star
there in
Seattle.
That could be cool. The only issue I have is that I feel like Seattle's kind of like the Angels right now. They got to do something.
Yeah.
You can't, wherever he goes, there has to be competitive playoff situation.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I think he could have it here as long as Trout's healthy, Rendon's healthy, and they add a couple more pieces, they could be that team.
Yeah.
So you never know. What if Trout comes back? Trout and Ohtani, I like that connection.
They have we'll say a good month of baseball, we'll say.
Yeah.
Say Trout comes back like the last week of August, so they have a good month of baseball.
And let's say we see the Bash brothers.
And then next year, they have chemistry, they make moves, say they get wild card. Then it's interesting to see what you're going to pay him, because you're already paying Trout and Rendon.
Yeah, but
and what other pieces you can convince, because you need to get a pitcher or two on that team this offseason.
I agree, 100%. But like I said, if he's doing what he's doing now in the future, they're going to have to find a way to keep him, because Trout's not going to let him walk out.
No.
There has been so much missed opportunity for Trout to make the playoffs. This
Ohtani
is not
walks.
Trout walks.
Trout be like,
request
trade
with Ohtani package, because you got to keep those two guys together, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
I honestly think probably, I'm going to say mistake because he's trying to be loyal, but honestly, I think that long-term deal for Trout, I would have been a lot shorter and some opt-outs to have faith in my team, but just in case they don't do well, they don't sign players I don't think they should. I want to win baseball games. I'm good. I'm glad I'm getting paid, but I want to win a World Series.
Look, man, I'm telling you right now, I would love to see the Mets play live again, but the game I'm excited about, I want to see an Angels game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Next year, I got to make it happen, because I got to see Shohei and I got to see Trout in the same uniform.
I thought there was a chance where we're playing them, because I saw we're on the road to Angels, but I guess it's the division where they're only on the road for one of the series. So I was like, well, is that a division? Yes, Nationals, but they're on the road too.
Okay.
So I'm like, that could have been two teams we easily could have gone to, because schedule is out.
Yeah.
Some interesting games and stuff, but yeah, honestly, we get 5-10 more home runs from Ohtani, I'd be shocked, because
I wouldn't be shocked.
I would be shocked how he
more.
is now, but I'm like, but this what we thought going into the season, how I said he's my dark horse MVP at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he is.
If he could put it together, God, I'm like, were we all wrong? I wish I put money on Ohtani now for MVP.
Oh yeah.
God,
I guess in our back of our minds, we're just thinking he's kind of been a little injured.
Yeah, it's if he could put it together, I hope that he could, and he has done it.
Yeah, man, I like I said, I am excited when he gets out there and plays. So I can't wait to see what happens in the future for this guy.
Yeah. All right. So this one I saw earlier on social media. It's an interesting thing. Tell us who's your least favorite player on your favorite team.
You already know mine.
I know.
I didn't even
and
ask
then
me.
Your favorite player on your least favorite team.
Ooh.
I already knew who your least favorite on our current team. It's Familia. For the Mets. I know damn well that's your least favorite
I can't
player.
stand it when they put him on the mound. I know he's going to let them score and lose the game.
Even though until I think this week he was doing a lot better, so I was like, okay, but
I don't care.
This week
he is my Familia for the Mets is my least favorite player on my favorite team, hands down.
Right when I saw this, I'm like, if I ask Alan, I know exactly who this guy is.
I'm yelling at you. You don't even need to ask. So who is your least favorite player?
Even though technically he's not currently on the team because he's suspended, but Robinson Cano.
Okay.
You are suspended once. You got caught. You're out for a year. And especially the tweet the other day after I forgot, I think someone did a walk-off hit, and he's like, good job, team. I'm like, he wasn't on the team when you've been up here. So who the hell are you saying good team? I'm like, you're not going to be on this team no more after this season. Like, we're willing to pay pay for you to go to somewhere else. I have a feeling.
Okay.
But if current roster, I'm right there with you, Familia. Like
I like our guys.
Yeah, the pitch mob is real, and then the other bullpen guys, I like how a lot of them have stepped up, and there's no one like really starting pitch wise I don't like.
Yeah.
So Familia. Now, the least favorite team, favorite player. That one, Yankees. I can say easy is my least favorite team. If I'm thinking about that, it's gonna be one of his new ones. It's gotta be Rizzo. But if I'm the guys who's beginning of the season, I don't know.
Well, you know, it's crazy is I don't have any technically least favorite players right now, because back in the day, if you'd asked me, like, let's start with like John Rocker at one time,
yeah,
or Chase Utley because of what he did to our boy Ruben.
Yeah.
My least favorite player right now, or my least favorite team is the Phillies right now.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a least favorite player on there, but if I had to pick one, it would be Bryce Harper. Just because of his time as a Nats, and I didn't really care.
This is what's your favorite
my
player?
Favorite player on my
least favorite team.
Oh, well, then that's easy. My favorite player on my least favorite team would probably... Ooh, they got some good players. I wanted to say Zach Wheeler, but that's too obvious.
Yeah, I love Zach Wheeler. That was going to be because I always loved him. I did not want him to go.
That's way too obvious, though. Yeah. I'm going to have to go with Adubel Herrera.
Okay. Not bad. But yeah, I already knew Familia was going to be your guy.
Yeah, bro. So hold on. Your least favorite team. You know, I like the Yankees rivalry, but my favorite player, I'm saying, if I had a favorite player on the Yankees, it might be... Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I like Judge and I like Stanton, but then again, I like hating them.
I don't know if I'm like how much we like Judge from stiffing us.
That's the only thing holding me back. I don't know if you guys remember, but a while ago, our story when Judge was still playing AAA, he was down here in Norfolk, and we were trying to get his autograph, and he was signing. He even borrowed my pen to sign the lady's autograph in front of me, and he's like, "Hey guys, I gotta go." I was like, "Are you serious? Come on, man! It's only like there wasn't even that many people there at that time. Yeah. It was probably like 20 people.
Everyone was there for what's his name, Yankees veteran. That was why a lot of people were there. God, what?
The Yankees veteran?
Yeah.
Oh, and he was cool as crap.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how are we having this?
Brain fart right now.
Well, while we think about who that is,
but
if I had to pick a favorite player on that team, well, yeah. Anyways, but Judge, he said he had to leave, and next thing you know, he walks on the bus, and he just
sat there.
The bus sat there forever. He didn't leave. Oh man.
Whatever.
Nick Swisher was there. Everybody was there.
Every Yankee fan was there to meet him, and he sat out there until he met. Signed autographs, took pictures with everyone who lasted out there, which was cool.
He was cool. No, he was awesome. He was out there putting up everything. Yeah, man, I don't know.
If I said the player from the beginning of the season, I'd probably say Stanton.
I like Stanton.
I
want him to do better, though. That's my only issue.
Just the injuries and stuff to sign that massive
when Stanton
contract.
hits the ball, yes, it's a beauty.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so then our last thing before we go, with us being Mets fans, the NL East has shrunk because our Mets have gone 3-7 the last 10 games. Of course, missing DeGrom and Lindor doesn't help. But going into tonight, as we record this, against Philly this weekend, we're only half game up on Philly and a game and a half up on Atlanta. So it'll be a last interesting month and a half of baseball because, Mets been leading the division for the last 90-something days. And it's like the fourth longest.
Now it's getting real.
Now it's getting real. We're crunch time, and we're slipping up a little bit.
Yeah. So like you said, the Mets, if everybody gets back and healthy, they could be a great team. Yeah. However, they got the toughest schedule to finish this off.
MLB screwed us. Well, they admit to screw us because no one and their mom thought about the Giants being who they are. But we host, I think next weekend we host LA. Then we go out to San Francisco. Then we go out to LA, and then we come back home to Giants.
Yes. Not only do we have a terrible schedule coming up, we had an opportunity to take care of the Marlins, the last place team in our division,
and lost.
And we did not.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. That's not how you finish it. No. We got to finish strong because I tell you what, our last 10 were 3-7, not great. No. And then the Phillies and the Braves are both 6-4 in their last 10.
Yep.
And the Braves are doing it without Acuna.
Yep. They retooled, added players. They added the right players the trade deadline to make a push.
In my opinion, I would be more scared at this moment of the Phillies.
Well, no matter what, we all know that whoever wins the division is making playoffs, because if you don't win the division, you're not making it because of what Dodgers and Padres and Giants are doing out there in the West Coast.
I agree. 2 wild cards. Those 3
are
guys
coming from that division, which we thought most likely maybe the second place in our division was going to face whoever finished second in our division, because we didn't think Giants were going to do what they were doing. They could stumble. They only are 4 games up. Oh, we run out of time. Oh, well. Damn. But, it sucks. It is what it is. But on that note, I think that is it this week, everyone.
I agree. I think we covered it.
So we'll catch y'all next week. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Peace.